Welcome to the Dare to Be Different podcast. I am your host, Austin, and joining me is my co-host,
Gabedo and KB. And yeah, this is season 2, episode
3.
Is it? Yeah.
Oh, so no, you're right. We're on the topic 3 of this main topic. There's this theme, but we're actually on episode 6.
Okay, we're pushing.
Yeah, we're on episode 6 of season 2.
Yeah. It's been a while, guys. It's been a while.
Yeah, we apologize for that, but life was lifing.
Yeah.
But we're back. We thank God for his grace and mercy. I mean, we've gone through quite a bit in this past month. That's why we've been a bit absent from the podcast, but we appreciate those who are listening, and we pray that God will use us to speak to you. And we are still on the theme of financial faithfulness. Yeah. And you're never too young, old to start thinking about your finances. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, last time we spoke about debt and credit and whatnot. So today we're going to be talking about saving money, saving your future. That is our subtitle for today.
Yeah.
So let's get right into it. So first we're going to check, what's the big idea? God calls believers to be wise stewards of money, and part of being wise is saving money for future needs. It's part of God's good plan for our future.
Saving money sounds like a curse word these days.
Hey, it's like a privilege, honestly.
Oh, well, yeah. I was like, I don't even have money to save. But let's see what the Bible can tell us.
So what's the problem? Well, God has called us to provide for ourselves, our families, our future. However, we sometimes struggle to save money because we don't know the truth about saving. We don't know how to save, or we lack the discipline to save. Here are 2 examples. Number 1, unrealistic expectations. We don't really expect anything to go wrong, so we don't think we need to save. Oh, naive, man. Then, I mean, ideally, sure, but still, man. 2, most of us love to spend money. It's hard for us to deny ourselves. We live in a consumer-driven culture where passion for spending far outweighs the desire to save. As a result, many of us have credit cards we can't pay off. Exhibit not A, but some hours that I can't pay off. So we are unable to set aside money for future expenses at all. Yeah, guys, credit cards. That's why we spoke about it last time. What's our response? A biblical response to knowing the truth about saving involves being willing to give up our own plans for our money and asking God to give us the desire to follow His plans for us financially. Now, we want to spend some time in the Word asking God for His perspective on saving. And yeah, that's what we're especially going to do when we get into
Yeah, that one actually hit, man. Like, we all have our financial plans, but how many of us have actually asked God to intervene on that part of our life?
Sure, good question. I think we're going to get hit with a bunch of that today. So, can you read for us just what do I need to know?
All right, so we'll be reading Proverbs 6, 30, 10, 13. So a lot of Proverbs we're basically going to be reading today. Saving reduces stress and anxiety about our money. Hey, man, that's already such a powerful statement. You know, those who are anxious and stressed, if you have a savings, you know, it's something that you can fall back on. So yeah, it results in flexibility in life and greater freedom to provide for ourselves and our families, both now and in the future. When it comes to saving, the cultural messages we hear today tell us if you have it, spend it, and if you don't have it, spend it anyway. And then I think what's prevalent in 2025, it's impossible to save because I can't cut back on any of my expenses.
That's a tough one.
What is saving? So saving is setting aside money to use for future needs. Saving is not money we have lost or given up the use of. It is future spending. Okay, so what do I need to know about the Proverbs? Sometimes Proverbs provide unique insights into specific areas of life by looking at nature. The writer of the Proverbs makes some interesting observations that relate to our everyday lives and then provides practical application. So yeah.
Quite nice. Quite nice. Yeah, I like Proverbs. Okay. So to launch us, we're going to start with 2 questions. The first one for us is, what example did your parents or guardians set for you in the area of saving, whether good or bad? And how has that affected you personally?
I think for me, my parents always spoke about saving. Definitely don't spend money recklessly. Um, and then when it comes to like buying things, if you don't have the money, you can't buy it. Simple like that. You know, I only took out a credit card, like I mentioned in the last episode, very late in life, which I don't think is a bad thing. Um, yeah, and I've always had that mindset even till now. Like, if I don't have it in some sort of account, savings account or something, I should not be buying it. So let's take, for example, like a pair of Jordans, right? We know it's about 3,000 Rand. I really want those shoes, but if I don't have that 3,000 Rand, I won't go put it on credit where you pay 200 Rand a month or whatever. I need to have the 3,000 Rand. And also, what I've done also is to make sure I don't just only have 3,000 Rand. Um, yeah, actually, there's a good example I have. So I really wanted a pair of shoes and I prayed about it. And I was like, okay, God, please provide me with the money to buy Jordans, right? So I think maybe I've said this before, but maybe not on the podcast. Actually, I did. Okay, you know what? I've said this story before. Basically, it was you need to save double the money you have before you can buy the Jordans. So I saved instead of just 3,000, I saved 6,000 Rand. Um, and God told me you need to give that money away, and I did. So I ended up not buying the Jordans because I gave the money away. But I didn't feel malice or like any sort of resentment towards God. I felt like, oh wow, I'm doing something that He asked me to do, and that was really nice. I really some good moments there. So yeah, saving for me, what I'm trying to say is saving hasn't been a hard thing because I think my parents have done it. Well, at least spoken to me about it quite extensively. So yeah.
Mm. Hmm. It's a pretty powerful story, man. I like this. That's pretty cool. Okay. No, for me, well, my parents in the area of saving, the example. So for me, I never really had grasp what they were doing with their money. I mean, I guess I could sort of see it, like the house we stay. I've had since my mom got a plot of land when I was very young, in Ep6. Um, and yeah, so I just saw like sort of spending habits, I guess, but also just saving or investment habits here and there. I, as a child, for instance, I saw that money was prioritized for certain things and others was a bit, and I say that in a funny, bittersweet way for me as a person, as I didn't have an allowance law. So, I mean, now and again, if I'd ask for something for the tuck shop, and I might get it, but I'd have to ask, type of thing. And um, otherwise, what's the other thing I was gonna say? Okay, no, my parents, like, I love them so much, but also, example, like, I didn't have medical aid, bro. Like, yeah, I know they were saving somehow. Yeah, but
It was till you to save.
no, that's the thing. Oh, okay. The closest I was to proximity of saving, I think I mentioned it in the past episode, like the last episode before. There was a money box, if I'm wrong.
Oh yeah. Okay, so there's something there.
But again, that wasn't in my control. That was just like, hey, KB, yeah, putting this in your money box. Like, okay,
Where's this?
I don't know. I don't know. Or actually, no, Shane, now it's just sitting randomly. I don't know where the money in that money box went. But now The money box is sitting on some.
I think there's a lot of money there. Were they only putting coins or they putting
It was coins and some notes and stuff. Okay. But now, like, that money one, I know where it is. It's on some random bookshelf at my mom's house, bro. Like, and there's nothing in there. It's like 2 cents. Like, there's nothing. But anyway. So, I don't know. Like, I had like a fuzzy or foggy, sort of experience or interaction with saving at home. But yeah, fortunately, I don't think I saw any bad money habits per se, so that's okay, I think. But yeah, for me, this very vague view of money just meant that there was a bit of a learning curve for me when I started to actually like get a significant amount of money, in working, and otherwise a consistent amount of money. Because for me, money was always something that I would just now and again get, or have access to. I was always at the mercy of someone else or ask someone else, type of that was my view. So for me, I've had to be intentional about having an abundance mindset of money and also seeing money as a tool and something to leverage. I've had to like work on seeing it that way. I'm still working on seeing it that way, and because yeah, man, it's something that for me, at least, and just circumstantially for me, like I came to know as sort of somewhat out of reach. Like not that, yeah, not in a hectic way, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be me. And then next for us to think about is what was done well. What would you have done differently? Okay, just because I just finished my, I'll quickly answer. For me, what was done well again? I think we were always solid in general, with housing and food and clothes and toys and stuff like that. We were always like generally good. So thank God for that. So I think like there was a level-headedness to how we worked with money. But again, for me, I only had so much of a view on money. So for me, what I would have done differently is to give my child, what I will do by God's grace, is give my child a more of a grasp of an experience with money, teach them how to handle it, how to view it. And also I'll be honest, I want them to feel abundance, like not spoiled, but to feel abundance.
Yeah.
But like fruitful abundance, use money as a tool, and to serve and to, you get what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
show them how to be generous and stuff. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Share my parents, my mom, for instance, she would give me money to put in offerings. So that was also good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for me, it's just, I might go a step further, for instance. Let me just use the example of offering to finish my point. Is I would want to then give my child a consistent amount of money, right? And in that, be very open and showing them how I give at the church and stuff, and then encouraging to do the same type of thing. Teach
But
them in.
will you force them?
No. I'll figure out how we do it, but it's just going to be a thing like, I don't know, for me, children powerfully learn by example,
Yeah.
Like for me, I think the money being put into my hand for church type thing, like I think I also would see my mom giving, and I don't know, I barely remember how I would have felt, but I just have this vague feeling that I would have wanted to do what my mom was doing or my dad was doing. You know what I'm saying? So children really do follow our example. So that's my approach that would be to it, to build up their hearts in that, in generosity, in trusting God, all that stuff. I'll see what ways I can learn to teach them that, but that's my heart for it. Let me say that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's me. Those are what I would have done differently. Let's come back. So what about you? Oh, stop casting. So for you, what was done well?
Yeah, so I think things were done well. I think maybe what I would have liked my parents to do is, I don't know if we're going to talk about investing. Maybe that's another topic, but I guess investing and saving might be the same thing. I'm not too sure.
We'll see if we get to it, but yeah.
Maybe it is a whole topic on its own, but I would have liked them to be like, hey, look, for your birthday, I'm going to give you 1,000 Rand, but I would like you to invest 500 Rand in A, B, and C. And then also explain what is investing, And as a young person, be like, okay, I'm just going to trust you, mom, dad. I'll take the 500 and I can go buy like whatever. But I'm just gonna trust that what you're saying about investing makes sense, right? And then maybe in 5 years' time they'll be like, hey, remember that 500 rand you invested? Well, now it became 1,000 rand. Here you go. And then I can use that. Oh, okay. So this is what I need to do when I get a salary and when I get money is to put aside money for myself and then put aside money to invest. I just wish that concept was there a bit earlier. Um, Not that like I don't invest now. Like, no, I do. It's just I wish it was done earlier because we know how stock markets have just increased over the years.
Yes, sir.
So just like if they told me, hey, I'll give you 1,000 rand, but do you want to invest in Apple in 2010? 1,000 rand. But it wasn't so accessible investing. We didn't have easy equities and all of these apps and stuff. You had to like go to a
Get
broker
accounts and stuff, yeah.
and you had to get dollars and it was a whole process. So maybe I don't blame them as well. But I mean, we could have also invested in local companies. So
Let's be honest. Okay, before we move to reading scriptures, how much you know about your parents? Were they investing in stocks and stuff?
my dad said he bought shares for my sister. So I remember that.
Is it-
But other than that, my dad was just investing in property, but not like stocks and shares and ETFs.
Property solid though.
Yeah, no, properties is a good investment. So yeah. But again, it was not discussed.
Yes,
It was just a thing I knew. Oh, my dad is going to look for a property or whatever. So yeah.
Alright, no shout out to. We will stand on their shoulders and find new and better ways to do it. God's grace. Yeah, it's grace, definitely. Okay. All right. So first, we're going to read Proverbs, verse 6. Chapter 6, verse 6 to 8. Oh yeah, it is verse 6 to 8.
Mhm.
And then we're going to read chapter 30, verse 24 to 25. Let's please.
All right. So Proverbs 6 says, go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer or ruler, yet it stores its provisions in summer and gathers its food at harvest. All right. And then 30 is verse 24 to 25. 4 things on earth are small, yet they are extremely wise. Ants ants are creatures of little strength, yet they store up their food in the summer. Cool.
Hmm.
Then this says here, list and discuss everything you see in these passages about ants and their behavior. Why would Solomon want us to consider the behavior of ants? What is the ultimate purpose of the ant's behavior?
Okay.
I think what I observe is firstly is they don't have a ruler. Well, I think they have a queen ant, but I don't know, that's a whole,
Yeah, well, that's a different. It's not like the
Yeah.
queen is telling them what to do.
yeah, no, it's just in their nature to be like, we need to look after our queen. How do we look after our queen? She needs to lay eggs. How does she lay eggs? We need to get food. This is just like,
Exactly.
okay. So yeah, so I think with them, nice thing about them is just in nature, they know that in summer they have to get food because in winter there won't be food. So they have to work in summer to store up their food for the winter seasons. Why would Solomon want us to consider the behavior of the ants? Because ants are wise, like in seasons of abundance, you need to save because there'll be seasons of famine. So it's just very simple as that. And then what is the ultimate purpose of the ants' behavior? To protect the colony, I think, to protect their family, the queen. If the ants don't work together to store up food, then when winter comes, that whole nest will just die. So, yeah. What about you? Anything else you can see in the scriptures?
I think just for me, I resonate with what you're saying. I think it's essentially looking to the wisdom of being fruitful for the sake of being fruitful, of doing work because it is good. The ants, they go to work, and ants lay their lives down on the line to get done what they want to get done, hey? Ants work together to get that. Like, they put all things aside. Like, whoever, they do what it takes to get done what they want to get done. Like, and it's so interesting. Like, you'll see some videos online to see how they work to overcome obstacles, to move.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's so interesting. Like, so I think that purposefulness of wanting to be fruitful, of also wanting to work in unity, I think that that's a great thing for us to apply to our lives and to consider. Because if it can be seen in such a small and, how can I say, simple-minded creature, and they accomplish, like, ants, for what they are, they accomplish awesome things, man. Like, when they build and everything, like, it's pretty cool. So now consider what we can do if we move like that, because we can communicate, we're intelligent, like, so yeah, it's something for us to consider. And the ultimate purpose, yeah, I'm going to say fruitfulness. I'm just going to add that in here. So of course one might say survival, but ants also, you can see they build things in a way to thrive, man. As much as they to.
Yeah.
Because I think the second that you go beyond just today, you're trying to thrive. There is a survival element to it, but you're trying to thrive. Like, they've got a long-term view. They know they need to gather. And the gathering is clearly not just for today. So it's awesome to see that they've got a long-term view. I think also, I might be reaching a bit. There's ants, and I'm coming back to this thing, laying down their life. There's ants that might know, oh, well, my lifespan, or I don't know if they know, my lifespan is only going to be now up until autumn, but I must still help gather, yes, for the nest for winter, so that the people around me survive to winter. I'm probably reaching a bit, but I feel like that's what they do. I don't feel like old ants are just chilling.
No, it's all for the lava.
Yeah.
Everything they're doing is for the next generation of
Yes. Yeah.
That's like, they have such a strong mindset. It's literally all for the lava. They will protect the lava and every bit. Yeah.
100%. So that's interesting. I think that's a interesting thing to see. Yeah, things that are small on the earth, but they are exceedingly wise. So it's just, some things are simple, but they are just all encompassing. Like, they're so powerful. Some concepts, should I say. I think that's also what Solomon is probably saying. I'm pretty sure what Solomon is saying here, that where he says there are 4 things that are small on the earth, but they are exceedingly wise. I think, yeah, like, little things go a long way type of thing, and some things, just consistency in them just produces greatness, fruitfulness, and whatnot. So I think that's something to see here. But yeah, I may not go too deeply here. Let's see what the next one says. It says, read Proverbs 10 verse 5. These,
it says, "He who gathers crops in summer is a prudent son, but he who sleeps during harvest is a disgraceful son." This verse talks not about the ant, but about people. How does this verse compare to Proverbs 6 verse 6 to 8 and 30 verse 24 to 25? What does Proverbs 10 verse 5 say about the person who does not work? So yeah, it's very similar. Like the ant, they gather their food in summer. So is the son over here. He's gathering his crops. So very similar comparisons. And so what does Proverbs say about the person who does not work? They are disgraceful. I mean, I'm sure other translations have different words, like, let's see here. CSV also says disgraceful, shame.
Yeah.
In the Amplified Version, it says, "He who sleeps during harvest ignores the moment of opportunity." Yeah. And ESB also says, "bring shame." So, yeah. Yeah, not too many things to think about there.
Yeah. So yeah, talks not about the ant, but about people. So yeah, just Because the other one spoke about the wisdom of ants and how they are not strong, right? So humans compared to ants, I guess, well, relatively ants are stronger than us, like relative to body size, but still, we can obviously get away more done than ants. And yeah, anyway, I just want to remind myself now what 6 is. I'm going back. 6 was 6 to 8. It talks about my memory, man. Go to the ants, observe the ways, having no tube over. Okay, yeah. So it just talks about. So the thing with the humans do it for themselves. The ants.
No, I think
It's all very similar.
they're very similar. I don't think there's anything deeper that we need to pick
Yeah,
up.
there's not much to read into, I guess. But
I guess the only thing we can say is there's repetition in the book of Proverbs.
no, for sure.
Solomon is trying to emphasize something here.
Yes, no, I mean, it does that a lot. So, yeah, it's quite similar in saying that those who gather in summer and make the choice to gather in summer are wise, essentially.
Mm.
The Proverbs about the person, just says that they're disgraceful, they're shameful. So I think if I was to try and go a bit deep there, it just talks to our purpose in life, because it goes all the way to disgrace and shame, man. And so I guess I would just maybe say it's not living the life that God has called you to live, and disgraceful. Oh, okay, maybe this is something. It's someone also who abuses the grace of God possibly here, because if you are not being wise about your time, if you are not being mindful of, there is work to be done for you to survive or for you otherwise to thrive. Now you are possibly, okay, again, I'm maybe slightly reaching a bit here, but because I see disgrace, you may be testing the grace of God here, instead of walking, how can I say, walking in tandem with it. There's people that walk, do, and in that they are in synergy with the grace of God, if that makes sense.
There you go. Okay.
And then there's others who, like, they do what they're not supposed to do, and then it's by grace, for instance, that someone doesn't die, or it's by grace they're not hurt, or it's by grace that, like, they're not bankrupt or whatever, ruined, some part of their life is ruined. You get what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like, some people, it's by grace that certain things don't happen. But someone making the choice not to do the right thing or to do a good and fruitful thing. Yeah, I'm just in my mind trying to see, like, how to get to disgraceful, if I'm making sense. So yeah, some interesting posts. Okay,
Cool. Next is Proverbs 13, verse 22, which says, "A good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children, but a sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous." Okay, so Proverbs 13 makes an interesting observation about lifestyle and priorities. What character qualities are demonstrated in a person's life who leaves an inheritance for his children's children? So the first point here, I guess, what character qualities is, you're showing that you're someone that can be trusted, someone who isn't selfish, who doesn't just think about the now, someone who's future minded, someone who just has love for their children and for the next generation. So just all good character qualities when you are someone who prioritizes saving. So yeah. And you? What character qualities are demonstrated?
No, I think I agree with you. Yeah, it just simply says a good man.
Yeah.
So a good man, I think, there's so many things tied to it. So it's someone that's fruitful. It's someone that wants to be fruitful for the sake of others, who wants to live a life that serves God and serves others, right? So I think they show it in their lifestyle and their priorities, like it says here. Yeah, man, they show wisdom, they show determination, they show fruitfulness, man. I think that's like the ultimate, some of the ultimate, like on an earth level, I think that's probably the ultimate expression of fruitfulness, you know, in terms of being fruitful for others or serving others or being generous or whatever. I think generosity for the next generation is like an ultimate form of fruitfulness, you know? I think that's just amazing. So for me, that's some of the qualities that are demonstrated in that person's life. And what we were saying about the ants earlier on, that, yeah, they just looked at, so I think there's wisdom. Yeah, wisdom also. By the way, we have not been checking out the answer.
Oh, yeah.
So let's go. Okay, so let's
We're at
go.
number 5.
Yeah, since we've been flying actually. So
These are the answers in the Bible study. There is a link in the description if you want to check it out.
so okay, so for the first thing that we asked, where it was
Proverbs 6.
the interesting observations list, discuss everything we see in the passages about ants, their behavior. Why would Solomon want us to consider behavior? Ultimate purpose of the ants' behavior. Let me go back. So, the Bible study says the ultimate purpose of the ants' behavior to consider is, well, on our list, main clues is they are wise, they have no leader, they work hard all summer and fall in order to eat in the winter. Also, they are small, they are not strong, they store their food, they are called people. Well, Solomon wants us to notice that ants work hard, take advantage of seasonal opportunities. They somehow know that they cannot gather food in the winter when very little grows, and they save. This is their ultimate purpose. Lovely.
Yeah. Very, very straightforward. Awesome.
Straightforward. And then the next one where we spoke about people, where it says, how does this verse compare to Proverbs 6 for 6 to 8? It's the wise dude and the person who doesn't work. This verse, this is a heck of an essay here. This verse highlights again the wisdom of seizing the opportunities we have to work. It also speaks of the character issue of one who sleeps when they should be working or could be working. We need to take control of our lives and carefully and intentionally provide for ourselves and our family, not depending overly on the government or others. It is also a good thing to be able to give to others in need. A person who does not work will not be able to accomplish these things and will have to deal with the burden of shame. The definition of shame in Proverbs, according to the Theological Workbook of the Old Testament, is to have a painful feeling and emotional distress, sometimes to the point of despair, by having done something wrong, with an associative meaning of having the disapproval of those around them. Hectic. We don't want to give the enemy this foothold. Okay, that's another thing. Not giving the enemy the foothold of shame. All right. Finally, for this question that we just asked, what observations about lifestyles and priorities, what character qualities demonstrated in a person's life who leaves an inheritance for the children's children? Answer. Some character qualities might be patient, faithful to God, reliable in relationships. Okay. Self-controlled, prioritizing others. Yeah, we kind of spoke about that. Both his own family and others in need, seeing and caring about the big financial picture long term. Saving takes intentional planning and sacrificial discipline. It does not just happen by itself. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. The next is Proverbs 13, verse 11, which says, dishonest money dwindles away, or whoever gathers money little by little makes it grow. Okay, so then the question is, why do you think people are so tempted to fall for get rich quick strategies? So yeah, again, Proverbs 11 is saying people gather money little by little, make it grow. So you can clearly see here it's against I'm going to say here it's against gambling. Gambling is a get rich quick strategy. Let's not lie to ourselves. So if you all want to ask me what does the Bible say about gambling, here's Proverbs 13 verse 11 for you. The way you grow your money is not by spending your money or by gambling your money.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, and it takes time. Oh yeah, and the first part of the verse says, dishonest money dwindles away. So if you getting money by doing things dishonestly, by cheating the system, or
looking for someone else to lose.
oh yeah, looking for someone else to lose, stealing is a dishonest way to get money. So there's a whole lot of things there. And why are we so tempted to fall for get rich quick strategies? Because we're lazy. We don't want to work hard. We spoke about work in our previous topic. So yeah, we by nature, our purpose is to work, but sometimes we go against that because like we were talking about earlier in tonight, we have a sinful nature, and sin is, going against God. We inherently we want to do that. Yeah, so I think that's why, and again, temptation is a part of the human existence. So that's why we have to pray and come up with strategies and create a lifestyle where our focus is on Jesus and the ways of his teaching. So yeah.
Yeah, man. No, I see you. So yeah, no, tempted to fall for get rich quick strategies. I think there's just that desire, unfortunately, in the flesh not to be fruitful, like you said, laziness. And here, okay, so I think there's that resistance in the flesh because of, for instance, I think about the fall, right? The fall, one of the curses was that we will toil
Yeah.
in our work. Our brow will sweat to produce a crop. We will produce things, we will be fruitful, but there is a toil to it. So I think there's a resistance in the flesh to that toil. And so for some people, they just want to find ways to do very little or even cut corners or whatever they can. That's why, for instance, I think betting, as we come back to gambling, I guess, that betting is such a massive industry in the world right now.
I mean, it's such a destructive industry as well. It's destroying people's lives.
Yeah, it's honestly insane. Like, if advertised everywhere, bro, like,
I've not gone past a robot. Well, let me say past like 5Ks without seeing a betting billboard. You can't drive 5Ks without seeing one. You must go to the middle of nowhere to avoid these things, man.
it's pretty massive now. So yeah, wealth obtained by fraud dwindles. Okay, no. I think we will probably answer this on the next question, but yeah, I think it just comes down to resistance to fruitfulness and toil and the purposefulness in work. We know there's so many people, I think we've spoken about it before, that have this mindset of, I want to be able to do nothing. I want to have so much money that I can do nothing. I just want to relax or whatever. There's just a resistance to being fruitful, and that's not the natural order, hey? But yeah. All right, so that's my answer. Next question is, what important truth is mentioned as it relates to saving?
Yeah, I guess saving is something that it takes time. And according to this verse, you do it little by little. You don't have to save 100,000 Rand. If you can, oh, great for you. But if you can only save 100 Rand, that's also good. Little by little. Yeah, I think that's the truth.
Yeah. No, pretty much the important truth also is just the sort of the inverse here, or the contrast here, let me say that, of get rich quick is that there is honor and that there is good and sustained growth in gradual increase. It talks about gradual increase, right? Or at least in the Amplified word, yeah. So the thing here, it's not just a thing of, I don't know, like it works best, just like if you go deeper, I think that our mindset around money and saving and resources, that naturally we just are more prone to keep something if we take the time to build it up, if we take the time to be a good steward and gather it together and to treasure it and to be fruitful and to be purposeful and to think beyond ourselves. Get rich quick. If you want to get rich quick, you probably want to spend quick, I think.
Yeah.
So I think a gradual growth also teaches you to be humble, also teaches you to be mindful, intentional with the money, and to have long-term purposes. I think that's pretty much going to be it for me. That felt pretty good. So yeah. Let's go check out our answers. So for number 6, just where we said why people tempted to fall for get rich quick schemes. It said, I want to read that one out.
There are a variety of reasons. One could be fear that they have not planned well for the future. Laziness or greed can be factors. If I can get rich quickly, then I don't have to work anymore. We talk about that. This can lead to actions that dishonor God, such as hurting yourself or your family or getting involved in petty or larger crimes. Like, guys, the stats for getting rich, it's like you in the 1 in a million. Like, you got a better chance of getting struck by lightning than just getting rich by gambling and playing like the lotto or something. So it's harmful for those around you. Like, you might have been like, oh, but I know someone that won the lotto and now they're living. Life still happens if you're rich. People tend to forget that things can still happen to you. Yeah, you might drive a nice car, you might have a big house, but the rain still falls on the rich and the poor, you know? So the buck doesn't stop when you didn't like reach a finish line, you know? It's like, the finish line is when you get to heaven. So things don't just end there. Yeah. So just be careful with gambling and stuff like that.
And with that in mind, also our view on money, like, and material possessions and everything, like, guys, if you truly, truly grasp or like believe in heaven, that there's only so much benefit to building up things for for yourself in general, but also especially for yourself. Like, so for me, like, okay, I got your what is your goal? Like now, tomorrow, if God decides it's my time to go be with Him, and it's like I'll look at all the things and it's like, oh, well, I mean, now all that stuff's just lying around there, bro. So now, like, now it's like you. But obviously, I think my family will just find some use to it, I guess. But for me, it's like, oh, yeah, I was so like this held so much space in my mind and heart that I wanted this thing, wanted that thing. Now, like say I had to, for instance, get a PS5 tomorrow. Example, right? And then next day, just you read, okay, yeah, God, anyway. Then it would be like, I want a PS5 just to experience it for one day. And this thing, right? It was like so big in my heart. It was like, nah, it's like things are just things. Like they're definitely there to be enjoyed, but it wasn't idolized things. But yeah. Anyway. And then important truth about saving. It's a very short answer. It says saving requires hard work, but it is worth it. That's it.
All right. So it is worth it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
when you get like if you want to start small, okay. You obviously, I want you to be future minded, but let's say you haven't saved before. And for example, you want to go overseas. You've never been overseas or whatever. Let's take, I don't know, Singapore is somewhere you wanted to go. And Singapore probably costs about, I'm gonna say 35K for 1 week. Let's say it takes you 3.5 years or whatever for you to save. Maybe you save like 500 Rand a month. But dude, when you get to Singapore, it's gonna be so cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be amazing. And that only happens if you save, you know? The inverse would be like, you know what? Instead of me going to Singapore and saving, I'm gonna go to like a Chinese restaurant and just eat wildly for 500 Rand. Or go out and just eat wild for 500 Rand. I mean, you'll forget about that food probably the next day anyway. So yeah. Saving, man, it's worth it. It really is. Oh, you know where saving really comes in handy? When something bad happens.
Yes. Yep.
Yo, man, I do.
I don't want to be found. I don't ever want to be found. Yes. Not having age guys, and that's what stresses people, sure.
like I know for me, like the one of the pipes for this geyser just came out or something. So I had no water for like one day.
Right?
And then I had to like get a plumber. And plumbers are not cheap, bro. But if I haven't saved, if I didn't have an emergency fund for this house, I would be stuck with no water. I would have to like go borrow money and then put myself in debt. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think we can actually speak about uh emergency savings and stuff like that. But there's good things you can save for, like a trip. And then there's also you don't know what tomorrow holds. So you'd rather save up for that. Yeah. And I think we spoke about that verse in James where it's like, you don't know what will happen tomorrow.
I did, yeah.
You'll be like, oh, I'm just gonna go here and there. But yeah, your life could end today. So yeah. Cool.
By God's grace, man.
Yeah.
All right, almost at the end.
Yeah.
Summarize in your own words what the Bible tells us about saving according to the verses we have looked at so far. I feel like we've said it all, man.
Yeah, I'd like just to reiterate. Firstly, saving is a good thing.
Yeah.
There's some good qualities that come with saving, like faithfulness and patience. We know those are fruits of the spirits. So if you want to build your fruit of the spirits, that's one way. You want to build your patience, go and save. If you want to build your faithfulness, make an investment. You're going to have faith that this investment will be well, especially if you prayed about it and God is giving you the wisdom for it. Because investment is also spoken about in the Bible, the parable of the 10 talents. So it's not like it's evil. Yeah, saving can happen little by little, by Proverbs 13 verse 11. So you don't need to be rich to save. You know, you can save with any type of salary. Um, yeah. And then inversely to that, get rich quick strategies and, you know, YOLO living and stuff like that. It affects your children's children. It affects your future. And if you're someone that's like, oh no, I don't want to have any children, so this verse doesn't apply to me. Man, are you helping other people? You know, are you helping other generations? Are you helping charities or your own family? Yeah, your parents, your siblings. You know, just because you don't have children's children, doesn't mean you can't help people and you can't do things of God. So yeah. Also, it doesn't mean you can't be future minded if you're a single person and you want. No, man, you can leave a legacy for, because I know so many people that die who don't have children, and then it just goes to waste, goes to their cat or whatever. You know what I mean? So you can still be future minded, and I'm sure God will put it on your heart for those that are single, and you know there is no desire to have children or whatever, to be future minded and to keep aside that money or that wealth for something better, like for building God's kingdom. You never know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
100% line. Yeah, no, I think you hit the nails on the heads. So yeah, we pretty much the same. Saving is a good, fruitful thing to you. I think it's the ultimate, or saving and investing, especially for the future generations. I think that's the ultimate expression of fruitfulness. It's a great expression of love for, yeah, man, just being able to be fruitful and generous for people that you don't meet around you, as well as like us doing our work in society. If you think about it, that's also a cool way to look at being generous in a way or fruitful in a way for people you don't experience, that you don't meet, like the products that my company sells or whatever I'm a part of in making sure that things work. It's just cool to be part of a big system that benefits people. And so just fruitfulness, man. Like, yeah, so for me, saving is a part of us doing that. It's a part of us being fruitful for ourselves and for others. It's a part of us managing our what God has given us well, you know, being able to take care of it. I think it's a part of recognizing His grace also, you know. I think that us, like, living carelessly, I think we can go dangerously towards abusing grace, but living humbly and intentionally, I think that's where we live in gratitude of grace, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much what I'll say. And then final, for us, it says,
What's the answer for that one?
no, well, it says summarize in your own words. Well, we'll see. Maybe they said something. Let's see. Yeah, no. It's just summarize in your own words.
And I think for number 9, it's also.
Yeah. So finally, our financial experts recommend that we set aside 10% of our current income for future needs. So savings and investment, I guess. Determine what that amount would be, whatever life stage you are presently in, and let that be your ultimate goal. We can all take a step in the right direction when it comes to saving, even if it's a small step. What can you do to begin to accomplish your saving goal? When can you start? Okay. Yeah, I think I'll just say for me, I know that I just want to finish with my credit card, and I should be. This is April. I think I've got just 2 months with my current track. Then I'm done. And sorting out my credit card. Then I'm just gonna continue. That's what I was going to my credit card. I'm going to just be saving and stuff. But fortunately, even now with this credit card thing, I still do have my investment account stuff that I'm going on, and so I'm just going to do a bit more of that. But yeah, I'm thinking about goals, for instance, for myself for property. I'm thinking of goals for marriage, lobola type stuff. And then I've also just got some generosity goals that I'm thinking about. So, and travel, bro, like, I think now I want to see, if possible, if I can maybe travel. And I want to do sports travel, bro.
What is that?
So basically, travel for
like events and stuff.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Like next year, okay, I don't know if I'll do it, but next year is the World Cup, bro.
USA.
Serious. It's in LA, bro. California. No, sorry, it's not in LA. It's not in LA. I'm thinking of the Olympics. Sorry, the Olympics in 2028 is in LA. Oh, maybe one of some of the matches will be in LA.
There's a stadium there.
I think so. Oh, if they're gonna host the Olympics, they must have.
Yeah,
they must have. So yeah, and there's LA Galaxy and stuff. I'm sure there's stadiums. Anyway, so yeah, man. Okay, well, I don't know if I want to go to the World Cup. I'll see. But for instance, bro, like at some stage, okay, I'm gonna start digressing a bit. We need to wrap up. But yeah, just stuff like that. And I did mention in previous episode I want to set up a will and stuff. So I want to look, and of course we bought our charity thing that we.
Yes.
So there's a few goals that I want to start just setting stuff aside for, and I want to, for instance, apply the 50-30-20 rule. I looked at I did a calculation of what that might look like for me. So I think that's a good first step for me, is just to see how.
What is it, 50? Like 50% to expenses?
Yeah, 50% to needs, 30% to wants, 20% to savings and investment.
30% for wants? Oh, must be nice.
It depends, like if you can. There's different applications. There's 80-20. Also, 80 is everything that you have to get, and then still 20 towards just like.
Oh, yeah.
So it depends. But at the end, try. I think the main thing is try and have your fixed like amount where you're intentional about it. And okay, but guys, also, because I know also and I do it, last I checked, just want to encourage you to think about tithing also.
Yes.
Really, really think about tithing, anyone that might be listening, and what an expression of faith that is, a response to the ministry of what that is. And then tithing, if you like, some say is actually sort of the baseline for Christians.
Yeah,
it's the baseline. So generous, like tithing is one thing, and then there's still think about how you can be generous. So I personally, I try to set goals for myself that stretch me, that cost me something, and not just what's in my pocket or what's left over after I've done this and that. I try to stretch myself. So anyone listening, I challenge to do that. You also, bro, but it sounds like you've got some good experience. But yeah, I think it's important for us to stretch ourselves. Yeah. All right. That's okay. I've said a bunch. I don't know if you have anything you want to say.
Yeah, I just want to quickly add. So I think personally, savings we've spoken about in the past 2 episodes. I think I'm good there. What I do want to maybe give advice to, and that's what's come onto my heart, is those who are like, I can't save. Money comes into my account and it goes out. there's nothing left. I can't tithe, I can't save. What do you want me to do? Firstly, I want to say it's not the end. You never tomorrow you could get a promotion, and then what you're gonna say? Where's your excuse now?
Mm.
You know what I mean? So there's that. And then I think we always okay, I thank God that I've never been in that situation, but from what I've heard about people who are in a lot of debt and actually can't save is you gotta humble yourself. You've got to live below your means, you know? You can't be eating out. You cannot be buying clothes. There's a time for that and it will come, but it's not right now. So I would firstly prioritize tithing before saving. I know that's very controversial. I'm sure billionaires are laughing at me, but hey, man, I'm trusting in the creator of the universe over billionaires. So yeah, try and get to that 10% tithing mark. Well, first you get a job. We spoke all about working and stuff in our Genesis topic. So firstly, get a job so you can get an income. Do not be lazy. The Bible talks about laziness a lot of times. Even Jesus speaks about it. But now I'm talking to people who have jobs but are in a lot of debt and a lot of expenses. You're going to have to humble yourself. You're going to have to let go of your pride. You're going to have to say no to so many things. And you're going to have to live below your means. And then you'll see it. 1 month is going to be, you can only tithe 0.5%. The next month will be 2%. But slowly but surely, by living below your means, you're going to get to that 10%. And I'm sure God will see you. God will meet your needs. Jesus says, seek first the kingdom of God, and everything else will be added unto you. Look at the lilies. They don't stress, yet they're more beautiful than any of the clothes in Solomon's house. So, I mean, just look at nature, look at sunsets, look at what God has done in his creation. Surely he loves you more than all these things. And you'll be working your faith muscle, you'll be working your fruits of the spirit, your patience. Yeah, so
Mm.
uh yeah, I just think it's a hard thing to swallow, but you can get to a point where you can save, no matter where you are. Um yeah. That's what I want to say to people. It's gonna be hard. Um, but yeah, it's not too late, is what I want to say. So yeah.
Mm. A bit of a challenge, I'll even say. But again, in the end, it's never mandatory. But I would say, because this is sort of how tithing is, this is how it was conceptualized in any case to some extent, is you give in trust, right? In faith, let me rather say. And this can mean you want a fixed amount coming in, right? And this one may be tough. That's why I say it's a challenge. But yeah, is no matter what either you think the month is going to look like or what it usually looks like, just set off that 10% anyway.
Sure.
I know that's a faith challenge.
Like just give it.
Yeah, I know that's a faith challenge. That I know. But I think here for me, just a closing thing, I think I'm going to read Malachi. It's Malachi. And then there's something that's in my mind right now that I want to say after I read it. And then I'm done. It's Malachi, I think it's 3 verse 10. Let me just check. 3, and you'll probably hear this quite often at church. But yeah. It says, bring all the tithes for the 10th into the storehouse so that there may be food in my house. This is God speaking. And test me now in this, says the Lord of hosts. If I will not open for you the windows of heaven and pour out for you so great a blessing until there is no more room to receive it. So tithing, just in closing, it's an expression of faith in God. It's a recognition of saying, God, all that I have is what you have given me. So I want to give this to your kingdom. I want to give this to your house to acknowledge, God, your power at work in my life. That's at least what it means to me. And the final thing, also in line with what Malachi says, you cannot outgive God. That's the last thing I wanted to say.
Amen.
All right. So I believe this is your nice and concise and blessed study. Very straight to the point.
It is like,
as Proverbs is.
yes, very straight.
But some good nuggets in here and some good, I think, confirmations, affirmations of how we should think and view things. And
Yeah. And please leave comments and stuff if you've taken these steps of faith, and if God has made your life a testament. It will definitely help other people.
There to be different testimonies would be so awesome, guys. Like, okay, if anyone can send, actually, I think we should read them. That would be so awesome.
Yeah, you can even email us.
That would be so.
I forgot our email address. Just leave a comment and I'll put it in the description or email address.
All right, so that'll be the. Thank you, my bro Austin. Thank you to anyone that checked this out. It's been a blessing, and you be blessed. I love you, and yeah.
Cool. Peace, guys.